welcome to my channel, 25th and South. My name is Cece, and today I'm about to embark on my very first collab. This is the back to school collab that was created by Miss Manny, and it features myself, IAmDangeress, and Kaylee Nicole O. And I'm so excited. Miss Manny put this together on Twitter, and I'm so happy she did, because as soon as I saw it, I just had this awesome idea of recreating the characters from the beloved movie, 1980s movie, The Breakfast Club. And so this is my video showcasing them and kind of how I would like to see if they ever did sort of an updated version of the movie, and sort of how you could probably make the cast a little bit more diverse. But along with this collab, Miss Manny put together some questions for us to kind of answer, just so that you can kind of get to know us a little better. Specifically in this video, get to know me. So I'm going to start off with some of the questions that she posed. So she has sort of get to know me questions, as well as questions that kind of relate to our school days. And so I'll just start off with the get to know me questions. So first question is, how long have you been playing The Sims? I've been playing The Sims for about a couple of years now. I got into it just after a really huge YouTube black hole. I stumbled upon a lot of really cool builder videos, and I thought, this looks really fun and it's super creative, and so I downloaded the base game and haven't really looked back since. Next question is, what is your favorite Sims franchise? Well, I never played The Sims growing up, so I didn't get to play Sims 1 through 3. So really the only Sims game that I ever played is The Sims 4, and by default, I guess that makes it my favorite franchise. Now, I know there are a lot of people that are really nostalgic over Sims 3, especially because it does showcase some things that maybe The Sims 4 doesn't have, but I really love the graphics. I love the characters. All of the worlds are really beautiful, so it's my favorite. Okay, so the next question that she has here is, who have you introduced to The Sims and what was their reaction? Well, pretty much a lot of people that I know, my coworkers and my family, know that I play The Sims, and they all think I'm a big nerd. So their reaction is, oh, that's interesting, it's cute. You know, they kind of give me that blank stare whenever I talk about it. So I try not to talk about it too much. Thank God for Twitter and Discord servers where you can meet with other simmers who love the game just as much as me and don't feel so weird. So the next question is, finish this sentence. You would catch my Sim self at A, GeekCon, B, Humor and Hijinks Festival, C, Spice Festival, D, Romance Festival, or E, the Flea Market. I actually like the Humor and Hijinks Festival the best. I just think it's fun when they're picking on each other and they, you're trying to build up the points for your group, and I just love the interactions with mischief and joking. I think they're really funny. Plus you have the really cool fireworks at the end. So that's my favorite festival. Okay, and so now the next question is, list 3 Sims 4 traits that I would like to give myself. Well, there are a bunch, and I actually have the mod where I have extra traits. So I know for those of you who've never watched my Rex to Riches challenge, it features my Sim self, and I gave her the traits of, let's see, lazy, geek, and one other, and I gave her those traits because, number one, laziness. I love naps. Naps are my favorite thing in the whole entire world. And geek, because obviously I'm playing The Sims 4. I'm a huge nerd. And I think the third one, I really can't remember what the third one is, but I'll go with ambitious because, you know, even though I like taking naps, I am ambitious. I want to be successful in everything that I do. I've always kind of been that way in my jobs and just any projects that I've worked on. I always wanted to be the best and make it as successful as possible and do whatever I'm doing to the best of my ability. Okay, so now for the fun school get to know me questions. So the first question is, what was your favorite subject in grade school? Now, grade school here in the United States, that would be elementary school. And so elementary school is from kindergarten, where I live, from kindergarten to 5th grade. That's how it's set up here in Arkansas, where I live. And I would say that probably the subject that really stood out to me in elementary school was always English, story time, and, you know, kind of learning to read. I will say I was a slow reader for a really long time, and I didn't really like to read because it kind of took me a while to learn, not necessarily learn how to read, but to read with any sort of speed. I was always really good at comprehension, so you could tell me a story or read me a story and I could tell you everything that happened with those characters. I could visualize it really well, but I just wasn't the fastest reader. And especially when you're in elementary school, it felt like all the goals for the kids were to read as fast as possible. But probably wasn't until maybe 5th, 6th grade when I started really digging in and reading and, you know, reading articles online and reading books and just sort of improving my reading, that I started to read faster and was able to comprehend stories better. And like I said, I've always been a visualize type of person, so I can sort of see stories sort of play out in my mind. So reading and English were my favorite subjects in grade school. The next question is, if you have gone to college, what was your major or what was your degree? So in college, my bachelor's degree is in communications with an emphasis in journalism. I wanted to be like the next Barbara Walters / Lois Lane. I've always loved journalism. I still really love reading different news articles and stories, and I love to consume news. I try not to on my days off, but when I'm at work and I've got nothing better to do, I love to just read up on all the news and stay really informed. But my master's degree is in criminal justice, and I'm utilizing that degree in my field. I just love the world of criminal justice. There's so much you can do in it, and for me, it's all about trying to help people. So whether you're someone who is within the criminal justice system or you're being affected by it in some way, that's what I really love about my work and what I do. Just sort of helping people, and so that's kind of how I'm utilizing my majors. Next question. Have you ever been bullied in school? Well, I'll say this. I know bullying today is a lot different than it was when I was in school. Really, social media didn't come to play until I was in college, so that kind of dates me a little bit. So I graduated high school back in 2006, and before that, we really didn't have social media, so any kind of bullying that went on in school just sort of stayed in school. It didn't follow you home or, you know, outside of school, and not everybody had a cell phone, and so people weren't sending you anonymous text messages or anything like that, because that really wasn't a thing. But the bullying that kind of went on in my school was sort of picking on people that were a little different, and I'm sure I was picked on a little bit in school. I never had a bully or someone that was constantly bullying me all the time. I think I had one kid that would kind of pick on me and another girl that I was best friends with, and just he'd attempt to make my life miserable. And he lived down the street from me, but that kind of stopped because his mother worked for my dad. And I remember one day after school, my dad came home, and I can't remember exactly what this boy said, but he really, really upset me on this particular day. And I went home and I told my dad, and he went, I highly doubt he went and threatened this boy's mom, but probably sat down and had a conversation about, look, your son is picking on my daughter. He needs to stop. And pretty much from then on, I never had a problem with that kid. Never talked to him. And my pettiness, 10, 15 years later, I've ran into him and I don't say a word. I don't speak to him. I want nothing to do with him. But as far as bullying, that's probably the worst bullying experience I had. But really what helps is finding friends that are positive influences, that always have your back, really getting to know people. And you kind of just really ignore the bullies when you have a really good group of friends, or one or two really good friends. So if you are someone that's getting bullied, number one, don't be afraid to tell your teachers or tell your parents what's going on. A lot of schools, especially here in the US, have no tolerance policies for bullying. So find that one teacher that you can go and confide in. I know a lot of kids would just hang out in certain teachers' rooms during lunch so that they could avoid having to deal with those bullies. But two, find yourself a good group of friends, especially if you're in a school where there's over 1,000 people there, there's someone there that you can click with and relate to and hang out with. So next question is, how old were you when you got your first cell phone? So like I said, cell phones weren't really a big thing until maybe I was in the 6th grade. So 13 years old, 12 to 13 years old is when I got my first cell phone. It was like a Motorola, this sort of silver thing. I can't remember the model, but it was really tiny, little brick. It had it had buttons that would light up blue. And this tiny little screen that was like green screen, and you could play Snake on it and Solitaire on it, but that was pretty much it. But I loved that cell phone, and I really kind of just used it as sort of a second line in my house, because we weren't allowed to take our cell phones to school. And then when I would hang out with my parents or with my friends' parents, like say one of my friends' parents would drop us off at the mall, I was the only one with a cell phone. So I'd have to call, parents to come pick us up and stuff like that. So that was my first cell phone. And the next question is, what group would you consider yourself to have been in school? So as you can see from the breakfast clubs, they're split up into 5 different little sects. So you have the athlete, the criminal, the basket case, the nerd, and the princess. And I would say that I probably fell in line. My cliques were a little mixture of the prep kids, the smart kids. I won't say nerd, because we didn't really do nerdy things. There was a group that played Dungeons and Dragons at the cafeteria table next to us, but we didn't do that. We hung out with those kids, but we didn't go that far. So I would say I was a part of like the smart kids and kind of preppy and a little alternative. What I really loved about my group, especially in high school, was everybody was represented at our table. Different races, different, religious backgrounds, different just family backgrounds. We all sat at the table together and had fun and hung out, and there was very rarely any drama in our group. We just loved making each other laugh and having fun. So we were kind of a group all of our own, but really good mix of people were sitting at our table. But myself, personally, I was kind of more like a preppy, smarty pants type of girl. I wore cardigan sweaters every single day. It was the life. And so, next question is, what advice would you give teens entering high school? Really, if you're entering high school, I would say just absorb as much as you can. Really get to know your teachers. If your school is anything like mine, you'll probably have one or two teachers for multiple years. So you'll have them in freshman year, and then you'll have them again maybe junior year or something. So always get to know your teachers. I know a lot of people make fun of teachers' pets, but for me, knowing my teachers and sort of latching onto them, not trying to be their best friend, but just getting to know them really helped me, especially if I was struggling. I'd have one or two teachers that were willing to, stay after school or help me during lunch with certain subjects. And really, from my standpoint, it just kind of felt like with my group of teachers, as long as you were trying, they would bend over backwards for you to make sure that you did well in their class, if they just saw that you were doing your very best. So for me, math was my least favorite subject, and it was really hard for me. So I really tried really hard in all of my math classes, and my teachers appreciated that. So when I would ask them questions or would ask for extra help, they were more than willing to give it to me. Two, like I said before, find that group of friends. Even if it takes you your senior year to find a group, or you might even have to join a club outside of school, just find that group of friends. Being in high school, being a teenager, it's so hard when you feel like you're all by yourself. So look for those, and look for good people too. Don't look for people that are going to pressure you into doing things that you're not comfortable with, or talk bad about other people, because if they're talking bad about other people, they're probably talking bad about you when you're not around either. So just try and find a really good group of friends to hang out with. It'll make high school way, way easier. And third, I would say, remember that high school is only a few years of your life. So whatever bullies or issues that you're having in high school, day of graduation, those things will stop. So I know it's really hard to see beyond, those four walls or those 4 years of high school and think past that time, but trust me, you can get through it. It won't last forever. And once you get to college, things will be better. And even if you don't decide to go to college, things will be better on the other side of high school if they're not going well. And if they are going well, cherish those moments, because real life, bills and, adulthood is not easy. It's hard. And there's a lot of stuff they don't teach you in high school about adulthood that you just kind of have to learn on your own. And so the next question is, what is your advice for people going to college? For me, I kind of wish that I didn't pick a major right off the bat. I wish I kind of took more classes, more electives, and sort of explored other things before I decided my major. I decided my major right in freshman year, which was communications, which is a good major, but I kind of wish I explored a little bit more. And I don't know, I guess I still utilize my communications degree in my job, even though it's not a strictly communications oriented job. But I feel like if I had done something else, I would utilize it a little bit more. Not that my degree was a waste of time, but I kind of wish that I had explored more degree programs. And two, join groups, join clubs, do overseas or classes. I wish I had done more of those study abroad classes, but I was a part of really fun groups that would go on free trips, take advantage of anything free that your school has to offer, and a lot of times it is joining those clubs like student council or the newspaper or something like that, and you can take advantage of those free trips and things that they could send you on, because I met a lot of really cool people and got to experience a lot of really cool things by being a part of the newspaper at my college, and I got to travel places for free that I wouldn't have been able to travel to if not. So we are coming up on the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. There are a couple of screenshots at the end. I will try to link the other girls' videos down in the description below. I'm not sure when they're going to be putting their stuff out. We're all supposed to have them out by this evening. So when this video is posted, everybody's supposed to post theirs. So I'll have those in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a happy little thumbs up. Comment down below. Tell me your favorite teen movie, drama, comedy, or whatever. I would love to figure out or see what you guys say about that. Again, please subscribe if you're not subscribed. I would really appreciate your subscription. That would mean the world to me. And again, my name is Cece, and I promise never to break your game. Bye.